welcome back. It's good to see you guys. Hope you're feeling charged up and ready to rock after a good spring break. First things first, let's go over the rewind. And today we're going to need the first page out of that packet. So I hope you have that handy and ready to rock. For the rewind today, I wanted to start us off with a fraction equation. This one has x in the denominator, which is kind of weird, but we're going to treat it the exact same way we did with those equations before break, right? If we can get rid of these fractions, it makes our life a lot easier. We can do that by multiplying by what we have in the denominator here, right? An x on top will cancel with an x on the bottom. But if we do that there, we have to do it everywhere else. That needs an x, that needs an x, that needs an x. Each one of the terms on both sides need an x. And this actually helps us out quite a bit because this denominator is the same thing, so it will also cancel out. Okay, what we're left with here is 7 times x is 7x. These x's canceled, we're left with negative 10. Over here we have 2x and 15. And now this is an equation just like we saw in skill 3, equation with a variable on both sides, right? If we just solve this by getting our like terms together, add 10 to both sides, move our 2, we end up with x equals 5. Okay, hopefully that one is familiar from right before spring break. The second one here goes all the way back to skill 12, systems of equations. And this one, you can solve a couple different ways. You can set them equal, and actually that would work okay because this is a fraction equation, the same way we solved right over here. But you can also solve this with a graph. So if you grabbed your mini whiteboard, and solved it that way, that works too, right? This one starts at the point 1, that's our y-intercept, and then our rise over run is up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, right? So we end up with that blue line. And if I graph the second one, this one starts at negative 3, right? That's my y-intercept, negative 3, not just 3. And this one goes up 5 over 2, up 5 over 2. We're going to get a much steeper line that looks like that, okay? And so the solution here is where those two lines cross. And it's going to be x comma y. In this case, it's 2 comma 2. Okay. Hopefully these problems are both fairly familiar to you guys. And today we are going to keep moving on these Annie skills, but it should be a pretty straightforward lesson if you still remember our inequalities skill, which was skill 12. Okay. Or it might have been skill 11. I'm getting a little turned around myself, okay? So we're going to keep moving with our Annie skills. We're going to start today talking about systems of inequalities. And you might remember the word inequality. Inequality is just graphing an equation that looks like this. Instead of an equal sign, we have an unequal sign or an inequality, okay? And so we're going to graph it very much the same way. This one starts at 5, just like the problem we did on the rewind. It goes down 2. Right? And then over 1, right? This number here is the same thing as 2 over 1, and it's a negative, so we have to go down and over instead of up and over, okay? So down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, okay? The inequality, though, means that there isn't just the answers on the line. We have all the answers on one side of the line, okay? And this equation here, when I read it to myself, hopefully you remember all this, y is less than negative 2x minus 5. And that means that all of the numbers on the line are not part of our solution set because we only want the ones that are less than, right? That's what we read when we read this sentence to ourselves. That means we need a dotted line over there. The other way we've talked about thinking it, if there's a solid line underneath, we make it a solid line on the graph. If not, then we don't make it a solid line, okay? And once again, this says y is less than, so we come over here with our pencil. We want everything that is less than this line. So I need to fill in this part of my inequality graph, okay? On the next slide is a pick'em slide. I would like you to pick one of those inequality graphs. Refresh yourself, make sure you feel really confident on how to graph these type of inequality equations because you're gonna need it for the rest of the lesson today. All right, good to see you guys. We're going to keep rocking.